Look at that. Got a little river going down in the lower part.
In a small town, the local authorities made a decision that would soon expose an eerie mystery. Nestled far from the hustle and bustle of city life, this tranquil hamlet was home to folks who found solace in simplicity. The heartbeat of this town was its winding river, a serene waterway that had seen better days. The river had become a cesspool of pollution, its once crystal-clear waters now murky and filled with refuse. A unanimous decision was made by the town's authorities. They were to drain the river, an action driven by the concern for the health of their community and the environment. The townsfolk, unsuspecting of what lay beneath the water's surface, supported this decision, eager to restore the river to its former glory. Little did they know, their well-intentioned endeavor would soon take a spine-chilling turn. As the water levels receded, they were about to uncover something that would shock them all. As the draining process began, the town was filled with a sense of anticipation. The moment had come, the decision had been made, and the wheels were set in motion. The river that had once flowed with a certain grace and might was now being methodically diminished to a mere trickle. This was no ordinary day in the life of this quiet town. Everyone, from the youngest child to the oldest resident, was drawn into the spectacle. The process was handled with great care and precision, involving not just the local authorities but the community as a whole. Every able-bodied man and woman was roped in, each playing a crucial role in this endeavor. The work was painstaking, but the spirit of cooperation was palpable. The townsfolk were united by a common purpose: to unearth the source of pollution that was tainting their beloved river. As the water levels dropped, the riverbed began to reveal its secrets. Every stone turned, every patch of mud sifted through, was done with a sense of purpose. The townsfolk were driven by the hope of unmasking the culprit behind the river's contamination. They expected to find discarded bottles, old car parts, maybe even a rusty bicycle or two. They were looking for signs of human negligence, something they could point at and say, "There, that's what's been poisoning our river." But as they dug deeper, as the river's belly was gradually exposed, the mood slowly shifted. The air became heavy with an unspoken dread. The cheerful chatter of the townsfolk began to falter, replaced by anxious whispers. The expected pollutants were there, a grim testament to years of neglect. But as the final rivulets of water were cleared away, a sense of unease settled in. The riverbed, now fully exposed, held a sight that sent shivers down their spines. It was something that transcended their worst fears. They were prepared for pollution, for the ugly face of human carelessness. What they weren't prepared for was something far more sinister. They were unprepared for the chilling discovery that lay beneath. As the riverbed lay bare, a horrifying sight met their eyes. A gasp rippled through the crowd as the final droplets of water trickled away, unveiling the haunting spectacle. The river, once a source of life and joy for the town, had safeguarded a macabre secret for who knows how long. There, embedded in the muddy riverbed, lay a collection of skeletal remains. The bones were scattered, some half buried in the silt, others exposed to the cold winter air. The sight was chilling enough to make the most hardened among them shudder. The skeletal remains, white against the dark mud, bore the eerie signs of long-lost lives abruptly ended. The community members who had gathered to witness the river's transformation were deeply shaken. The river had been their companion, a part of their daily lives. It had seen their children grow, heard their laughter, and shared their secrets. But now, it had revealed a shocking secret of its own, turning the familiar into the uncanny. The news of the grim discovery spread like wildfire, stirring a wave of shock and disbelief that swept across the quiet town. Neighbors exchanged hushed whispers, their faces pale, their eyes wide with fear. The quiet hum of everyday life was replaced with an oppressive silence. The skeletal remains seemed to cast a long, dark shadow over the town, a grim reminder of the river's hidden secret. The discovery raised a flurry of questions. Who did the bones belong to? How did they end up in the river? Was it a tragic accident or something more sinister? The town was suddenly thrust into a whirlwind of speculation and uncertainty. The shock of the discovery resonated in every corner of the town. The river, once a symbol of life, had become a symbol of death and mystery. The town was no longer a haven of peace, but a place of fear and suspicion. The quiet town was suddenly thrown into a whirlwind of questions and fear. The river's secret had been revealed, and the repercussions were just beginning. The local police, unaccustomed to such discoveries, began their investigation. As the initial shock subsided, the quiet town's protectors found themselves thrust into an enigma that would require more than their usual crime-solving prowess. Faced with an investigation of this magnitude, they had to call in external reinforcements. Experts from the state's forensic department, historians, and even anthropologists were soon swarming the drained riverbed, each bringing their own knowledge and skills to the table. The scene was a hive of activity. As these specialists meticulously picked through the unearthed relics, their every move watched by the curious and apprehensive townsfolk. The process was painstaking. Every inch of the riverbed was combed over, every artifact cataloged and studied. The river, once a source of life and leisure for the town, had turned into an open-air laboratory. The experts were methodical, their faces etched with concentration, knowing that the smallest detail could be the key to unraveling the mystery. As days turned into weeks, theories began to emerge. Some believed the findings were remnants of a forgotten civilization, buried by time and nature. Others speculated about a dark hidden history of the town, a past that the river had kept secret until now. The wildest theories involved ancient curses and supernatural occurrences, fueled by the town's fear and the mystery's chilling nature. These theories, as varied as they were, only served to deepen the enigma. The experts continued their work, their determination unfazed by the mounting pressure and the town's growing impatience. The police, too, were relentless, following every lead, no matter how minuscule or far-fetched. But the answers were as elusive as the river's secrets. Each day ended with more questions than when it began, each clue leading to another dead end. The town's unease grew with every passing day, their faith in the investigation wavering. They were a community in limbo, their lives held hostage by the unknown. The town was on edge, as they waited for answers. The river had revealed its secrets, but understanding them was another mystery altogether, a puzzle that the town and its protectors were desperate to solve. As the investigation progressed, the mystery began to unravel. What ensued was a painstaking process of identifying the remains. The local authorities, along with forensic experts, began the arduous task of putting the pieces of this jigsaw puzzle together. Each bone, each fragment held a story waiting to be told. The first breakthrough came when the skull was identified as that of a human. It was a chilling moment, the realization that the river, a lifeline of the town, had held such a dark secret. The skull was sent to a forensic lab where a facial reconstruction was done. The result was an image of a face that was strangely familiar to the townsfolk. Then came the identification of the rest of the remains. The bones were of different ages, indicating that this wasn't a one-off incident. This was something that had been happening for years, right under the noses of the unsuspecting residents. The cause of death was harder to determine. There were no obvious signs of trauma on the bones, but that didn't mean foul play was ruled out. On the contrary, the investigators were more convinced than ever that this was a case of serial killings. The absence of trauma suggested a methodical, calculated approach, a modus operandi that was chilling in its implications. As the news of the findings spread, the reaction of the community was a mix of shock, fear, and disbelief. The town, once a peaceful haven, was now a place of nightmares. The river, once a source of joy and recreation, was now a symbol of death and despair. The community gatherings were no longer about celebrating life, but about mourning the lost souls and seeking answers. The local authorities were under pressure to solve the mystery. Town meetings were held where residents demanded answers. The mayor, the police chief, the town council, everyone was under the scanner. The tranquility of the town had been shattered, replaced by a palpable sense of fear. Theories started to circulate. Some said it was the work of a serial killer who had been operating undetected for years. Others suggested it was a ritualistic cult, carrying out sacrifices in the dead of the night. The truth, however, remained elusive. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the mystery deepened. The remains were identified, but the perpetrator was still at large. The town lived in fear, with each day bringing new revelations, but no resolution. The revelation hit the town hard, casting a shadow of fear. The discovery had a profound impact on the town and its residents. As the dust settled and the initial shock began to fade, the town found itself thrust into an unfamiliar spotlight. The once sleepy community, known only for its tranquility, became a hub of curiosity and speculation. The discovery had turned the town into a beacon for mystery enthusiasts and thrill seekers alike. The authorities, in response to the unearthed secrets, ramped up their security measures. The river, once a source of joy and recreation, now bore an ominous presence. It was cordoned off, its once lively banks now standing silent and deserted. Vigilance became the new norm, as the town embarked on a journey of cautious existence. The residents, too, underwent a transformation. Conversations that once revolved around mundane daily tasks were now laden with apprehension and intrigue. Whispers echoed through the town, each more chilling than the last. The discovery, while horrifying, had sparked a newfound interest in the town's history among the residents. The local library found itself inundated with citizens, poring over old records, seeking answers to the questions that haunted them. The town's past was meticulously dissected in a desperate search for any clues that could shed light on the chilling discovery. Yet, despite the heightened security and the relentless quest for answers, the town was left with more questions than it started with. The mystery, it seemed, was far from being fully unraveled. The lingering questions hung like a heavy fog over the town, a constant reminder of the river's dark secret. The town was forever marked by the chilling discovery. It had lost its innocence, replaced by a sense of caution and a thirst for answers. The river, once a symbol of tranquility, had become a chilling testament to the town's hidden past. The town's residents were left to grapple with the aftermath, a chilling reminder that sometimes beneath the surface lies a chilling truth, waiting to be discovered. The town was forever marked by the chilling discovery. The event left an indelible mark on the town's history. With those words, we enter the final scene of this chilling tale. The decision to drain the river, initially made with such innocence, had unforeseen consequences that forever altered the fabric of this small town. The discovery of skeletal remains in the riverbed was nothing short of horrifying. The town, once a tranquil haven, was now the center of a terrifying mystery. The event created a ripple effect, changing the town and its people in ways no one could have predicted. The residents, once friendly and trusting, became guarded and suspicious. Friendships that had stood the test of time were strained, and neighbors began to look at each other with wary eyes. The town's once bustling markets and cheerful festivals gave way to quiet streets and closed doors. The laughter and chatter that once filled the air was replaced by an oppressive silence that was almost deafening. The event also gave rise to a myriad of questions. Who did the skeletal remains belong to? How long had they been there? And perhaps the most chilling question of all, who was responsible? Despite the relentless investigation and numerous leads, the answers remained elusive. The mystery continued to loom over the town like a dark cloud, casting a long and eerie shadow. However, as much as the event changed the town, it also brought about some important lessons. The townspeople realized the importance of unity in the face of adversity. They learned that fear and suspicion only served to deepen the divide among them. They understood that the only way to overcome the horror that had befallen them was to stand together to support each other and to face their fears head-on. But perhaps the most significant lesson was the harsh reminder of the fragility of life. The skeletal remains served as a grim reminder that life is transient, that our time on this earth is limited. It reminded the people to value their lives, their loved ones, and every moment they have. Yet, despite the passage of time, the mystery continues to haunt the town. The drained riverbed, now a chilling landmark, reminds them of the horrifying secret it once held. The river, once a source of life and joy, is now a symbol of death and fear. As we close this tale, we're left with a haunting image of a town forever changed. A town that was forced to confront its darkest fears and learn some hard truths in the process. A town that, despite its scars, continues to stand strong, united in its resolve to never forget. The drained river unveiled a horrifying secret, forever changing the town. And so, the river's secret remains, a chilling reminder of the unforgettable event that forever marked the annals of this small town's history.